Peace. This is Dana Polk Jr., Master Executive 8, and this is part 2 of the real meaning of self, EM, electromagnetic, P, Powerment, part 2, coming straight from the book, The Science of Bliss, Immortality, written by Dan Winter. You can see it in the link in the description. You can buy the book and follow along. I will get a percentage of the book that you buy, so any support is, I'm thankful for it. All right, so let's continue. So we're going to continue with the question, what creates self-awareness? Recursive phi ratio creates suction, which turns inside-out dimples into tornadoes, spheres to Toro donuts, and eggs to babies. Basically, what turns an egg to a baby is this same process. It creates self-steering. So when does this self-awareness happen? This self-awareness happens inside the heart. The heart becomes self-similar and then holds the real picture of your feelings outside of yourself. So what is perfect compression? It is, speaking in terms of emotion, the true shape and origin of compassion. And how is perfect compression shown in those emotions? It's shown in science and math as the golden mean, or pi, or phi, or 0.618, in the music coming from the heart. So how does all of that relate to bliss or fusion implosion? It is basically the musical key signature. So what draws the outside in, causing that perfect compression again? It is the self-similar picture inside the heart that is real, shaping what is outside, and this is compassion, which creates the rush you feel, and that rush you feel is the grand attractor. So our feelings have a direct influence on our environment, and it becomes visible in music, also in the music of the heart, also known as heart coherence. Heart rhythm coherence. A coherent heart rhythm is defined as a relatively harmonic sine wave-like signal with a very narrow, high amplitude peak in the low frequency region, typically around 0.1 hertz of the power spectrum, with no major peaks in the other bands. So the next question is, does any of this have to do with religion? And it doesn't. Although there are some common threads in religion and the science of bliss. So religion talks about bliss, but in different ways. Some examples of that are enlightenment, the saving of your soul, beatitude, and sainthood. And for those of you who don't know what beatitude is, because I didn't know what beatitude was, it is supreme blessedness. So if both religion and this book are talking about the same thing, are talking about bliss, what's the difference? So this book talks about spiritual work that begets enlightenment and spirituality using simple science. So what are some other examples in religion where the commonality of the science of bliss is found? One example is incorruptibility. Incorruptibility in Roman Catholicism happens if a body is judged as incorruptible after death. This is most often seen as a sign that the individual is a saint. By incorruptible basically mean it doesn't stink, like it's not rotting, it's not a rotting corpse. So there is actual science to confirm what religion is saying, that certain bodies do not decay after death, And the reason is because the owner of that body was successful at making it attract waves of charge. So this resulted in life force being sucked in and prevented the cells from decaying. So what is the result of this finding? Because of these findings, we now know how, in one example in particular, through live food, how to make ourselves better holders of charge. Other things like thinking shareable thoughts, ideas that are loving, they also make ourselves better holders of charge, and they create a glow with charge, and your cells will stay happy and glowing even after death. So why is this science a mystery? And it's not a mystery. It is the process of becoming sustainable through the science of charge. So how can we become powerful and take control of this process? By understanding principles instead of worshiping miracles, we can become powerful and take control instead of becoming food for parasites. So what is left when we remove personality worship and miracle worship from religion? The practices to make bliss. So are there any suggestions this book has to offer concerning personality and miracle worship? And yes, the suggestion is to reduce the quantity or the amount of personality and miracle worship that you do. And what is the result of discovering for ourselves the pure principles or rules from how waves and science make bliss within? The decision that you don't need to worship a mystery or a person outside of yourself. You can be the dream by going inside, because then it will be understood how creation really works, and we can do it ourselves from within. So that's it. That is the end of the real meaning of self-empowerment, part 2. All right, so we're going to pick up in the next video talking about how creation really works and how we can do it ourselves from within. All right, so I will see you guys on the next video.